Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Naomi and thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. So this video is a continuation of a series that was started, Advice to My Younger Self. And today we're going to be talking about forgiving yourself. I came across a quote about 2 years ago that says, do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. This is by Maya Angelou, and I think that especially earlier on in life, everybody should understand that no one is perfect. And when it comes to making mistakes, it's not a matter of if I make a mistake, it's when I make the mistake, how do I navigate that space? And personally, especially after navigating my 20s, I have come to understand that it's very hard for me to forgive myself. I find it easier to forgive somebody else. When someone hurts me, I will talk about it or I'll confront the person, and it's easier for me to forgive that person. I'll navigate that space better than when I do hurt myself. When I hurt myself, I beat myself down so much, and sometimes I find myself in a slump for a very long time, and the guilt and the shame, and it's just a whole mess. It's more difficult for me to forgive myself than it is for me to forgive another person. And when I look at the reason why, I wondered why that was very hard, but it's because I know my ideal self. I look at my ideal self and I'm constantly chasing after my ideal self. And I know the things that my ideal self will do and not do. And because of that gap where my ideal self is and where I am, each time I fail, this gap allows me to have immersed guilt and so much shame. And when you talk about guilt, it's I have done something wrong. But when it's coupled with shame, shame is I am bad. Now you're internalizing it. It's becoming that you as a person is a bad person, not just that you've done something wrong, which is a very bad place to be. And one of the examples, especially in my 20s, that I can recall is that I had broken up with people before, and even in my 20s. And it's easy for me to kind of get over that. I shouldn't say easy, but I allow myself to go through the process. And once I am out of that space, I am done. I am done. I do not even want to get back with the person because I have my reasons for not being with that person. But I had two friends in particular in my 20s that I lost. We were really close friends, and we were not friends anymore. And there's obviously different circumstances for each friend why we're not talking anymore, but it was painful. And for one particular friendship, I found myself back dealing with depression and anxiety to a point where I had to get back on my medication, and it took 2 therapists to get the help that I needed. And this was just so that I can cope and get to school, interact with people. But it was really, really difficult because I had so much guilt and shame coming out of this friendship. But what I learned, especially with my therapist, is that one, you need to accept what has happened. You need to respect the other person's decision to not want to relate with you at the level that you were relating before. You need to accept that. Second of all, you need to take responsibility of your part. What part did you play in allowing this relationship or friendship to fail? What part did you play? You need to take full responsibility of your part. Remember, not the other person's part, but your part. And then after that, allow you to forgive yourself. This is the biggest thing that I would tell my younger self. You need to allow you to forgive yourself. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. And first of all, even having the mind to kind of isolate, is it me who was wrong at this point? Was it somebody else? It's not always easy. It's not always black and white. But you need to understand that you will not be able to move forward with yourself if you do not forgive yourself. For me, not forgiving myself meant I was going to still be in that cycle of depression. I've suffered from severe depression for a very long time, and I've been on medication on and off, but every time I'm in that space, it's as if I have to ride the wave again. It becomes even more difficult for me to navigate that space. So not forgiving myself for me looks so messy. I am struggling with depression. My anxiety is off the top. It's horrible. But me forgiving myself on the other end, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. It's like a burden has been lifted from my shoulders. It's me starting from another point. And the other thing I had to understand and realize was that forgiveness is a journey. It's not a once-off thing. But the most important thing about forgiving yourself is that you need to start. You need to that day allow yourself and say that, okay, yeah, I accept what I have done, but I have to now start the process of forgiving myself. It's a journey. And remember, it's not time limited. It's not that you have to forgive yourself in 1 week. Sometimes it takes years. Like for me, especially for this particular situation, it's taken years and I'm still in the process. But I know for a fact that I am in a much better position than I was even 2 years ago. So before we even end this video, I would love to ask you, what are your biggest regrets? What have you said or done that leaves you in a space of immense guilt and shame? And have you accepted that? Have you taken responsibility for the wrong that you did, for the part that you played? And after that, have you allowed yourself to forgive you, which is the most important part? So do not forget to be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself, be patient with yourself, and see you in the next video.